Did you know that scouting is not just about camping and badges? It's a way for young people to become incredible leaders for tomorrow. Hey, ScouterStan, let's talk a little bit about how do we build really incredible leaders for tomorrow. That's what scouting really does. It's not all campfires and all the stuff that goes on in a troop. We know that. It's not just toting chip and putting up tents and being able to make great scrambled eggs, or that's a part. It's a method. It's a way to get there. But as scout leaders, we get so focused on all this other stuff that this is leadership training. That's what's happening, and it's so important that we keep that in mind. This video is really just to go over some of those points that we so often forget about. One of the big ones is progressive leadership. They don't just start off as senior patrol leader. We know that. They start off as assistant patrol leader, okay? That doesn't even count towards rank advancement. I mean, it's a very small position, but it's a place to start. And then they build on that. They work with that for maybe 6 months, and then they go into patrol leader. And they work with the guide, and they work with the instructor, and they kind of build up a talent, a leadership talent. And then they might think about going for assistant senior patrol leader. And then they might, if they do really well, they're having fun and everything's doing well, then go for the big one, and that's senior patrol leader. So as a youth, it's a progression, right? Now within all of this is patrol method. Now patrol method is absolutely critical to every single troop out there. You need to have some cheer for your patrol. You need to have some camaraderie, some kind of it's a vibe that patrols kind of develop. They have a logo or a flag, and they have a cheer, and then they root for each other, and they work together, and they do things together. Patrols in a patrol method do all kinds of great things, and they can even go camping on the that's what's so cool. The patrol could go on their own, and of course adult leadership with that. Gotta stay within the YPT. So, but yes, the patrol could do that. That builds incredible patrol spirit, scout spirit. That's where it comes from, is a patrol. Leadership training programs are all around. Everything from Scouting University. There's a lot of neat things there that they can learn. Of course, online training. Your instructor for your troop could actually be doing some of that training in action. There's even training that's done through your council called National Youth Leadership Training, NYLT. This is a wonderful training for a lot of young people that want to be in the leadership of your troop and really help you out. NYLT, National Youth Leadership Training, is the wood badge for the youth. It's huge. You gotta check this video. That tells you a little more about that. Now, learning by doing. This is huge. A lot of times we will talk about a subject, but we don't actually do that training. We don't do what actually occurs in that training. We teach a lot of skills in scouting. First aid, rescue, those kinds of things. We don't want to be in that situation. So hopefully we learn about it, but doing it, that's the other end of it. And it is very important that we come up with a safe way to put what we've learned in rescue, in first aid, to put that in action. So we do that all the time. Camporees do it all the time. They'll have a situation controlled situation, safe situation, but they have to use that training. They learn by actually doing it. It absorbs deeper into their minds what they're doing, and that's the key. That's the key. Yeah, it's real scouting when you're doing what you've been taught. Mentorships from adults. This is something that's a natural progression of leadership. It is very critical that the scouts that have been elected to a patrol leader position, a assistant senior patrol leader, a senior patrol leader, they should always have adult leaders that want to jump in there and kind of help out. Make sure that the scout is comfortable and understands their role and understands their responsibilities. This is something that the scouts, the adult scouts, scouters, they're actually there to kind of help that scout. If they're not confident about something or they're questioning a process, this is when the mentor steps in and kind of goes, well, this is step 1, step 2, step 3. This is the important thing about that, is they have to have that mentor. And so many young people don't have adults actively helping them lead. And that's a wonderful thing. Now, you always have to be able to step back from that, but as an adult leader, being able to help that young, brand new leader, it's important that you're there to support them. It could be as simple as being in the audience going, just give them a thumbs up, some encouragement. That means the world to a lot of people. So definitely think about that mentoring process. That is huge. Hey, before we go any further, I want to make sure that you are invited to come to the live meeting. The live meeting is on the first Sunday of each month at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So please join us. Now, you're going to have to adjust for whatever time zone you're in, but please join us and join in. That's a great way to ask questions, and I'm there to answer them. Also, I want to personally thank all of the patrons on Patreon for their continued financial support. Also, if you would like to become a channel member right here on YouTube, hit the join button and go through that process. It's a great way to help fund what you see here. If you don't want to do a monthly donation, that's fine. We have a thank you button. Just hit the thank you button and make a one-time donation. That is always appreciated. And let's get right back to it. Problem solving and real world scenarios are all around us. Think of an Eagle project. Now, believe it or not, if you're going for Eagle, the youth have to have a project proposal, and it goes through all kinds of signatures and evaluations. The very last one, recently, I've been doing my local area. I've been going over these proposals, and I'm seeing incredible leadership going on in there, and using those scout skills and being able to communicate rather complex ideas. That's all part of the real world paperwork that's needed to do a project. So when they get into the real world, when they get into a job, they're going to have to do the same kind of paperwork and get approvals and make sure that the manager signs it and their supervisor signs it, and accounting has looked at it and has got the budget set up. I mean, it is involved. That's kind of what this is. And that's the real world environment of that leadership. Learning those skills. Being able to take on a project, being able to do a project, whether it be conservation for the troop or an Eagle project or you name it. There's so many things they could be doing. The importance of reflection has been reviewed many times. We call it feedback. Feedback is a gift. We say that in Foot Badge constantly because it is. It's a gift. And that's the wonderful thing. We need that information back, being able to take that as a young leader is difficult. That's why mentors are there, so that they can kind of help that youth take that feedback and make it good, make it worthwhile, making changes so that those things don't reoccur, the bad things, the problems. That's what feedback does. It highlights all the things you did right and all the things you did wrong. As a leader, that is very critical to being successful. The core values of scouting, said it many times, Scout Oath and Scout Law, those are the words of that. The meaning of all of that, the actual using all of that in what they do, in their leadership, is so important. And other things are important too, like doing a good turn daily. That follows through in family. That follows through in scouting. It follows through in work when you're doing a job, a profession. Those are critical things. And in scouting, we have good turns all the time. In fact, there's a video on that, and it talks about the oldest service project around, and we do it every year. So it's a good turn done every year. That's a wonderful thing. Of course, keep this in mind. You're not limited to that. You are supposed to do that daily. You already said it. Now, those examples that come from your scouting experiences are valuable to your youth leadership. Understanding how to run a meeting, how to make those meetings exciting, how to put it all together, that is a huge thing for a lot of youth. And being able to do that, we do in scouting. This is something we do. And these are the values that we're putting into this new young leader. And believe me, those experiences are incredible. And it's okay. If there's a situation where it just doesn't come out right, there's ways to recover. There's ways that you can mentor the scout and help them recover and do even better meetings in the future. So this is the real world examples that happen within the troop, within that group, is incredible for the leadership skills that they're developing. Nobody's a born leader, so you have to develop that through those experiences. That's the key. Skills for beyond scouting. Okay, we do that a lot. A lot of merit badges. Teach how to account for your money, how to make a budget. These are things that you carry into the rest of your life. Eagle projects. When you put together an Eagle project and go through all that paperwork, there's 4 segments to the workbook. I mean, it's involved, okay? The first segment is just reading how to do it. It is amazing how doing that project is a lot like project managers for major companies or municipal that need projects done, like pipes in the ground or storm drains or something like that. It's real scouting skills that are learned and then brought with that scout as they go into the work world. They can take those skills. For instance, cooking. I've always believed that cooking should have been a required merit badge a long time ago. It is a critical skill. You need to be able to feed yourself and others and work a budget and keep yourself healthy. That is super important in the rest of the non-scouting world, right? So it's important that is a skill. I can't tell you how many freshmen in college get so sick of ramen noodles and cold pizza. That's no way to live. And they eventually have to develop that skill. We do it in scouting. And we make it easy, and we have a way of learning about it and putting it together. Now, it's not an easy merit badge, but once you've learned those skills, you'll need those skills the rest of your life. And that's true with a lot of the merit badges. Everything from entrepreneur merit badge to inventing to you name it. There's so many merit badges that have a career element to it. That's very important to think about that as you're in Scouts. Not every Scout is going to be an Eagle, but every Scout's going to do merit badges. They should. And this is something that we present to the Scout so that it sparks an interest. They might have no interest in doing that merit badge, but once they start doing that merit badge, those are skills they're going to need. And they're going to need them the rest of their lives. And it may be a leadership skill, being able to publicly speak. That's a big skill. There's a ton of other merit badges out there that help with skills beyond just the troop and the scouting and all that stuff. But it creates the best Scouts, and it creates the best citizens and the best leaders for tomorrow. Now, keep up what you're doing in Scouting, because your young Scouts need your leadership. You need to be there to help them and help them get through some of those hurdles. Give them feedback. This is huge. We talk about feedback. We've talked about it this entire season. In fact, the very first 2 episodes of this season were all about communications, and that's a huge part of this. These are skills as adults and as the youth need to absorb. And we do a lot for our Scouts. We do tons. And we just keep up that great thing. And Scouting is a very old and tried and true way of developing good leaders. And it is a wonderful thing and a gift that we need to keep going. And I'm sure that you're thinking that too. But just keep up that good hard work. And if you want to know more information about how Scouting started, I did a video. It's right over here. Check it out. And I'll see you on the trail.